Let us see, Hugo. What exactly is this destiny you speak of? What's up, guys? That guy with a what rare time actual blue pencil here. Fun fact: doing to have it on me and keep it on me at all times. Another fun fact: are you shocked? Are you surprised? Are you truly even bamboozled? You know what time it is. It's peak lock time, aka peak every week time. And we got double peak this week because I have a chapter behind. So I'm excited. I've heard some things, like a lot of CAM allegations, like on loop. Like I don't know, man. So let's waste any more time. Let's dive right into chapter 332, suitable destiny theory. I'm already confused. All right, let's see. Hold on, actually, let me double check something real quick. Because I did just have to do something. So let me make sure everything's all copacetic. Everything is all copacetic. All right, so, let's see. Say, do you believe in destiny? Okay. In that, let me answer that question. Oh, well, there we go. he immediately kind of went into something in my perspective, as he says, "I'll enlighten you. There's nothing fantastical or spiritual." I see something about something the logic of destiny. But I think destiny, it really depends on what you mean in like the broad terms versus the narrow terms. In the broad terms, I believe in one true destiny for all things. Death. Like I know you may be like, whoa. Pencil Man did not click on review to immediately hit the existential crisis. I know. Welcome to the Block Review. So, like, obviously, at the end of all things, everything must die. As far as we know, like, scientifically. At least, unless I'm mistaken, there's nothing that's, like, truly, like, eventually all things shall die. Everything that lives must die. The very universe itself will eventually experience a heat death. Or a big crunch, or a big freeze, essentially death, alright? Stars burn out and die. Like, the only thing that technically cannot die is something that was truly never even alive in the first place, which is like a rock. But even then, like, eventually even this rock, the one rock that we're on right now, will eventually be consumed by the sun, and then the sun will then fold in on itself and then poof. So, like, technically, even the rock that we're on right now will eventually perish. But that's, like, the broad scheme, large scale, looking at the macro sense of the universe in a scientific, and I see he says logical sense, everything will die. That's like the one thing that I'm like, yeah, that's destiny. But in terms of like individual destiny, I'm very, let me say this, I'm very iffy on it. Like I look at my own life in a lot of different ways, because obviously I don't really have a frame of reference for anybody else's life but my own, and like other people's lives I know pieces of, because I've only lived my life. But, like, there's some things in my life that basically say, like, oh, yeah, that was, like, fate and or destiny. And or, like, if they aren't that, they're so close to that they might as well be. Like, if I didn't meet X person in this moment, thing wouldn't happen. But at the same time, I also think of things in, like, a weird time traveler sense of, like, a butterfly effect thing. Where, like, a big part of my life now, and I mentioned this before, specifically in Blue Lock Reviews, I'm pretty sure, but a big part of my life now is content creation. No, you're here watching a Blue Lock video being made by me. I will tell you, as an actual factual, I was never planning to become a content creator. My own mother told me to become a content creator, but I was never going to do it. Never. It just didn't feel right. It didn't seem real, despite me loving the app and always loving the app. And now, yapping being such a consistent part of my daily existence that it feels weird whenever I know for a fact there's not some sort of content for me going up. Like, it's strange now to imagine that I was ever at a point where I would never yap. But, like, that's the thing. If I were to believe in destiny, I would have been destined to never yap. And the reason I think of destiny more like a time traveler's thing, or like butterfly effect and stuff like that, is because I know for a fact you pluck out one particular canon event. You could definitely argue it's two, because unironically, the first video on this channel, which you can go back and watch, I think I've deleted some videos off the channel, but like, I almost like the super 4,000 plus video history of the channel. It's just hilarious to me. But, all the way back to the beginning, the first video ever was a review of Spider-Man Far From Home. I still remember where I edited it, how I edited it, and how awful it sounds. Second video ever, the Akatsuki versus the 7 Deadly Sins. That was born of a conversation I have with the guy that I haven't spoken to in years. If it were not for that conversation, in that context, I would have never been a content creator. Never. I genuinely think, like, that is, like arguably a destined point. It is a canon event, quote unquote. But at the same time, that was just one conversation. That was one instance. And then that led to this now. And this, like, I cannot even imagine what my life would look like if I wasn't a content creator, which may sound crazy, but hey, when you do something consistently for a long time and it just becomes a part of your regular routine, and you start to think like that. So ultimately, I believe in a loose destiny. I believe in, like, somewhat defining your own destiny. I believe in free will, despite being a science guy, which argues that free will kind of isn't a thing, considering everything can be predicted, logic, string theory, yada yada. But it's my view on it. Let's see. I'm assuming Hugo believes in a more suitable destiny. Let's see. About the logic of destiny. Whoa! Just look at that just look at that, for instance, Hugo. He has blasted it right in front to the front line. It's a counterpass. Soggy. How you gonna let him snatch your chain and immediately flip the offenses, bro? Hugo, you're frying it, please. Let him go. Let's see. It was a very clean pass, though. And that is smart. He wasted no time. He mentally, he didn't even bother playing. He was like, let's just get this ball out of here. Darn. It's going right to Loki. This is, shoot. Well, butter my behind and call of all the matchups, of all the things I was expecting. This is the spot, right? Wait, no. Gosh darn it, Nico speaks so often, but not often enough that I have an immediate voice ready for him. What is his voice? Hold on. This is the spot, right? Wonderkind-san. Look at Nico, of all characters, being the one to hard kind of look. He intercepted Nico. Nah, my bingo card. But see, that's how you know it's serious. That's how you know this game's already a level up from Nigeria. I genuinely could probably go back through Nigeria right now, and I don't think I would have seen a single, maybe like 2 uses of Nico's metavision. If any. He may have not used it once, genuinely. I remember specifically in the reviews talking about how Nico never used metavision at all, or none of the metavision users were really using metavision in the Nigeria match, except for Aiku right at the end, and obviously Isagi intermittently throughout. But Nico immediately using metavision to predict this pass and intercept Loki, smart. And it's also extra smart. I mean, like, it depends on how good Loki is at, like, offensively taking point, but a good thing about this is as long, like, obviously Loki has insane off-the-ball movements, but as long as you keep the ball away from him, he can't, like, immediately Godspeed diff you. That's the one thing. He can't immediately Godspeed diff you. Because if he does have the ball at his feet, good luck catch him. Good. Like, I just don't think it's fathomable. But so much for Destiny, man. What about the logic? You just got our logic right here. Let's see. Right, Wonderkind-san. When it was stolen from Isagi, this was the most dangerous spot. Oh! My glorious hands of Juicy. Watchtower King Nico. Shout out to the Nico fans, dog. Y'all. I'd say y'all go it really depends, though. I say y'all go through it in the sense that, like, Brody gave up on ever being a striker. But at the same time, for anyone who invested in Nico stocks early, they're like, I'd say it's like investing in a stock with a dividend, right? A stock with a dividend at a stable company. It's not necessarily like an Isagi stock where, like, it's expected, or a Rin stock where it's also just expected. Like you invest in those stocks because, like, no matter what happens, they're gonna be fine. Even when the market drops a little bit, they'll be fine. Main rival character. Like, those are the safest stocks you can invest in. But in terms of, like, a mid-level stock that not too many people would have bought into, a lot of Nico fans I know bought in low. And they're holding good. But in terms of, like, cash value, in terms of the loans they're taking out against their stocks, they're doing good. Nico, he's been a real good, solid, meaty, consistent investment. Especially in a verse that has such fluctuating investments, right? Like, I know who knows, maybe Hiyori's going to do something with the 2 chapters, but I know as an actual fact, as a person who even bought some Hiyori stocks himself, and it's actual agony. It's actual agony being a Hiyori fan, bro, because this is, it's not fun. It's not fun. That boy's doing nothing. He needs to do something. Please gotta show Sensei. It's been since he blocked the Rin goal in PXG. It's probably been like 100 chapters. Not 100 chapters. It's probably been like 60 plus chapters. Please let Hiyori do something other than miss. Or be blocked. Let's see. Well. I hear credit to even Loki being like, well, butter my behind and call me a biscuit. They actually read your boy. Let's see. Nice, Nico. Huh. Not bad. You know what though? I'll even give this. I do respect when people of like HUGO and Loki's, essentially a person who's like of a higher caliber than whoever they're going against, which clearly both are. I like when they do give their due respect. It's like the idea of, I didn't even think you were gonna be able to do that. But like I don't know. I always think of it whenever someone impresses me in a way I wasn't expecting to be impressed. I'm all like, my immediate thought is like, wow, great work. Like that's some crazy stuff. Let's see. Not bad. Just need to clear it. When an opponent has a way to keep Isagi-kun from shooting, Blue Lock can change attack patterns. Yeah, and that's the beautiful thing about Blue Lock, right? The idea that there are not infinite options, but like everyone can score. Everyone has something in their bag where if they're near the goal and they got that foot on the ball, there's a non-zero chance. And notably, it's a lot to take in. I like to imagine, I don't know, but if I were to, because I played goalie for a little bit years ago. I was a defender and I was a goalie. I was never a striker. But in those instances, even if, because obviously I wouldn't have any data back then, I wasn't watching other teams play. But I like to imagine, even if the France goalie has data on like all the Blue Lockers' scoring patterns, that's a lot to keep track of. That is an insane amount to keep track of. Because notably, despite some characters having crosses, some characters having straight shots, a bunch of characters having a variety of volleys, like, they all come at different speeds, size, shapes, mixes, and you don't know what else they could do. That's a good thing about Blue Lock. They have infinite options within infinite options for some characters who have multiple ways to score. And on top of that, knowing all their options, right? Like keeping all the information and actually picking the right one in the right moment is really darn difficult. I'd say goalie is one of the most terrifying and hard positions ever on the pitch, because it's just, if you lose, golly, it's kind of your fault. Not really though, but still. Let's see. When our calculated team design has been seen through, we'll sting with unpredictable solo skills. But still, you could use both. You could call, like, a crazy combo was last game when Rayo and Bachra teamed up and we're doubling up on Bachras, bro. Like don't even sleep. Just because the heart of the team isn't working doesn't mean the team can't have separate hearts. Though admittedly, that is one of the critiques of Blue Lock, right? The idea that the story, while balanced in terms of its character distribution and character importance, isn't well balanced in terms of character dynamics between characters that aren't Isagi. So if there is a point for Blue Lock to still grow from, it is the idea that they do need to do more like Rayo Bachira stuff. They do need to pull off more Chigiri, right? Like just mix up everything so that even if the main core of the team isn't all there, in the case of Isagi right now, you still have separate individual cores that can link out and do their own thing. Essentially, put Isagi in the position that Loki's in, where you want to kind of debate him or use him as a debate, and then hopefully everyone else can work together around Isagi, who's currently being debated or being used as debate, in order to work something out. Let's see. Oh, okay, Bats. Ankle's broken. All right, Batra. Let's see. Pierce their defense. Hornet-san. Ooh, he's a bee. But, ooh, he's a bee, Nico. He's a bee. But, ooh, I see you. Okay, Batra. On it. Golly. Schmicks of... Oh, who's this? Camus? Camus? Samus? I don't know. Let's see. Hold on. There you are, number 8. Just try me, little Zephyr. Zephyr isn't like the Roman wind spirit? Am I tweaking? Is that a wind deity or a wind spirit? I forget. Hold on. Zephyr. A soft, gentle breeze. Oh, okay. Oh, in Greek mythology. Yeah, Zephyr is the god of the west wind. Okay, so it's Greek, seemingly. All right. But also, a Zephyr is a soft, gentle breeze. And am I saying it right? Hold on. Let me see. Why are you not playing?
Zephyr.
Yeah, Zephyr. A soft, gentle breeze or a fine cotton... What is it? I have no idea what that is. Jingham? Lightweight, plain woven cloth. All right, so... I guess he is just a soft, gentle breeze. That's actually, to call Batra that of all things, I thought it was like a Greek mythology reference or Roman mythology reference. Nope. That's actually low-key an insult. Calling him a soft, gentle breeze? Okay. Interesting, this guy's design, too. Time to sting. Okay, Batra. Okay, Schmick. Wait a minute. No Schmicks? Batra. Did you just get clamped? No. What was the last time Batra was like clamped? Like he's been in scenarios where he's just passed the ball instead of going. I think this is the first time since like second selection that Batra's been like actually clamped. What? My King Batra. We may be in trouble. Hold on. Let's see. Bang, wham! Hard slapped him too. Let's see. He matched my dribble tempo and altered his pace to follow. This is clearly a guy who studied my style, so he could cover me specifically. I mean, that is true. But you know, the good thing about Batra in particular is that he is a genius. So like, he could just come up with something new. though that is the idea, right? As long as I feel like the more information you have on somebody, just in general, the easier it is to work with them. Or work against them. But like, this is a common thing. I always think of it in like fighting game terms, like conditioning, like knowing how your opponent's going to react to something can lead to you doing crazy things. Of course, if your opponent's insane and like has no patterns, it's really annoying to fight. It's typically players who are new or players who are just so good at the game they can do literally anything. But just think of it in like real life. The more you know somebody, the better you understand them, the more you can do with them and or for them because you know them better. It seems like the same case here is for France, where they've had a whole bunch of film. Unfortunately, Blue Lock being serialized in terms of the brain, in terms of the New Aegis League, that was just data feed. Even now, the evolved Blue Lock that existed in the Nigeria game, data feed. They're using the exact same players too. It's not even like you could hopefully or hypothetically get like a boon from Baro or Shido being on the pitch because they haven't played since the New Aegis League, even though it wasn't that long ago in universe. Like, they have updated as soon as the previous game level data. So, of course, they were just able to study it. And put on a guy who can clam Batra. Okay. Let's see. Too predictable, little Zephyr. Yo. He's calling you a little soft, gentle breeze. Batra will break his neck. Let's see. Shut up already, windbag. In that case. Speedster? See you. All right. You're up, Chigirin. I don't know why. There must be a reference that I just don't understand. Why do they call him Chigurin? I don't know. I don't really get that. Let's see. Okay. Camus had his ankles broken. On it. Blue Lock Japan, right wing back Yoba Chigiri. Go crazy, Chigiri. Please, you just score. Chigiri, please. I need you to score, bro. You can't let Rail just steal your swag, bro. Please. Let's see. All right. I'll use my speed to break through. I mean, I don't know what else you do. Let's see. Who is that? Okay. Namora. Hold on. My nose is a little bit stuffy. So I'm gonna do something real quick. Hold on. So I can properly get a little bit nettled with Namora. I glaze Namora all the time, so I think I can get away with being a little bit nettled with him. Hold on. Sorry. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen. But I'm getting real sick and tired of these non-eye designs. I know there's not that many. But, like, dog, why do you not just draw eyes? Like, I get it, the circle is easier to draw, and this character's not important, but still, dog, why? It's the same thing that Agi had. Like, I don't get it. Agi is such a fiery design, except for the eyes. I like this guy's design, except for the eye. What is it? Why do you keep doing this? Like, I don't even know where this comes. Why? Like, to be fair, it's not bad, but it just seems, I'm not gonna see the thing is, I don't want to call Nomura lazy, but I really do not like this kind of eye. Yeah, I'm not rocking with it. Like, would it really be that hard to just give him regular eyes? Like, it'd probably be a bit more, but dude, come on now, more. You sure? Wait, no. You sure? Ain't gonna happen. No freaking way. Oh. This guy can act. Yeah, it's raps. Yo. Well, ladies and gents, GG. What do you... Yo. Like, here's the thing, right? I'm not saying an all-speedster comp would have really gone crazy anyway. Like, I'm not saying that you put Chigiri, Yukimiya, Corona, Chigiri, Zontan. Like, I'm not saying, like, a full speedsters comp would have worked. But it would have been interesting to see. Shigiri is still the fastest in Blue Lock. That's not really a debatable. That's not like a debatable thing at all. And he's getting clamped by a last nameless random. Brody, it's over. We are done. We are deep fried, well battered, done. Brody, Brotato Chip, it is all ogre now, bro. All ogre now. Hold on 1 second. But I guess in a way, this is still good. Like, speaking of, continuing on the genius idea that I was talking about with Bachura, I think the big thing that our genius half of the cast is going to do, they're going to have to start doing that spontaneous evolution thing. Like unfortunately, that idea of the dynamic between Jason and Tom, they're going to have to just start doing insane stuff. Unfortunately, if their most base, current, mad level Inhuman kits are being hard, they're going to have to just go crazy. They're going to have to go stupid. They're going to have to go bonkers. Unfortunately, that's kind of their only meta response right now. Because if they're really being locked down like this, they're going to need to lock in. They're going to need to lock in desperately. But hold on. But then, if that's the case, I'm assuming, continuing off the whole suitable destiny idea that this chapter is based around, I'm guessing what Hugo means is like, hey, funnily enough, and this does fit exactly. It fits exactly to what I was talking about in my thoughts on Hugo video. It makes Hugo the Isagi, right? Where like he's like, as long as I have the data, as long as I have the information, and as long as I can prep around my team to counter any other team we have, because we also have data on them, it's over. It's wraps. And honestly, Loki's a low key until these geniuses start pulling on crazy stuff. It is true. It is true. Hold on. Let me do this, and this, and this, and wiggle my toes and tickle my nose, and yeah, get down there, please, please. But let's see. How is he so fast? Mind if I join ya? And you know what though? I'll say this. As much as I don't like his eye design, the rest of his design is really cool. I like the seemingly, I don't know hairstyles, if you can tell. Look at my hair. But like the seemingly cornrow into braids, I don't know. But like the whatever this is, whatever the hairstyle this is, I like the hairstyle. And I like that we have a bulky speedster. That's actually really cool. Like notably, I've always been a bigger guy. I've never ever really been small, even at my smallest, quote unquote. But I was also a sprinter. Relatively fast, too. Not the fastest, but relatively fast. So I do like seeing a speedster in Blue Lock that's not, like, lean built. Because think about every other speedster we've seen so far. Think of Loki, obviously. Think of Chigiri. Yuki Miya isn't necessarily, like, lean, but he's also not the biggest and bulkiest. And Corona, tiny. Literally, it's a whole part of his characters. Antetsu, very lean. But no, we have Layden here, who's just big, bulky, and fast, and I like that. And it's good that he's a hard counter to Chigiri, because in this case, he's not just fast enough to keep up with Chigiri, but Chigiri couldn't, like, box him out as they're running either, because he's just that big. But let's see. Mind if I join ya? He's fast enough to cover Chigiri during a solo sprint. The same thing happened to me and Bachura. All the tricks up our sleeves have been logically predicted and dealt with by France? No duh! No duh! But, like, one, the whole genius idea of, like, help them, or hopefully they spontaneously evolve. And two, yes, of course. Why wouldn't they? Like, and this is a big thing I've always critiqued, seemingly enough. But then again, we do know that they at least watch some match footage, at least a little bit. But, of course, there's no reason why they wouldn't take the idea that you've been playing, openly showing off your talents on film, and not watch and hard prep counters for you. Why wouldn't they do that? Like, I don't know. Notably, I don't play fighting games competitively, but if I ever were to play fighting games competitively, first thing I'm doing is getting as much data as I can and watching as much film as I can. And of course, that's still random, because they're probably going to locals before I go to any super majors. I'd have to like build up actual skill to do anything before I go to super majors. But then I'd watch my top tier opponents play. I'd figure out how they play, why they play, when they play, and how they play in order to make sure I could do counterplay to them. Specifically within the range of, like, specifically for fighting games like my own character. But yeah, of course France took all the data you gave them, Isagi, and used them. That's what you should be doing. You should have known this. But then again, he may know it, but just not know the extent of it until now. Let's see. In every aspect, they've got the upper hand. So, like, see, that's the thing. Why did you not do that? Especially against France. Like, you're telling me you didn't do any research? You don't know any ball. You have no ball knowledge on France? I don't get, like, I know Isagi's whole thing is mid-game adaptation, but, like, as a person who is very logically inclined and respects, like, information gain, like, why would he not do that? I'd have film footage and everything I would have it study. And I'm not saying that film and footage tells a whole story. There's a very big difference between watching something be played and actually playing it yourself. Like, I always think of any sort of, like, Souls-like games playthroughs I've seen. I was like, how come they didn't dodge it? How come they didn't dodge it? How come they didn't dodge it? Then I played Hollow Knight. I got what? What? My basic bosses! I'm playing Silksong right now over on Twitch. I'm getting fried by basic stuff. I'm free eats. I'm easy eats. I'm buns. So actually watching film and playing it, different, right? But still, on the idea of having an idea of what you're going against, I'm shocked Isagi hasn't done that. I really thought with us having so many Medvin users who were once spread out all over before, I thought one of the main things we'd get, or at least confirm would be happening off screen, is they all sat down and watched the team that they were going to go up against. Why not? Why go in blind? Or if not blind, why not get as much information and build as many hard counters as you can? But let's see. Maybe they're gonna have to learn that from this game. Let's see. They've got the upper hand. Yeah, like, look at Hugo's build, bro. That man is humongous. He's a smooth. He is smooth. Let's see. He stands straight. He is smooth 6 foot something. He's probably like a smooth 6'1", 6'2". And just look at the beef on that man. Look at his arm next to Isagi's arm, bro. Like they genuinely, they are not the same. Not the same. Let's see. Bro, it's not really the time to have this conversation. I mean, I guess. Hugo's in a rush. Let's see. Destiny comes down to your suit ability. Pat on the back. Let's see. Physique, personality, talent. These things determine your basic abilities the moment you're born into this world. In other words, from the moment they're born, people aren't equal. I think that's actually I somewhat disagree already. But in terms of, like, certain things you cannot, like, you cannot necessarily choose how tall you are. That's not a thing, right? So that's something that's out of your control. But in terms of your actual physique, you can get stronger. Of course, there is, like, a limit of human potential, and people plateau at different points, but, like, you can get stronger and stronger and stronger through proper training and proper execution. So I think physique isn't necessarily innate. Personality, I don't know. And maybe this comes from me just being a person who was raised around a lot of people, and thusly a lot of my own personality. Like, if you were to go through the long scheme of my life and just look at different people I've met and interacted with, and even the people I've watched, a lot of my personality is far from what you would expect my innate personality to be if you just looked at my parents, assumed they popped out a kid, and boom. Like that, like, my personality is, if anything, furthest thing determined from my birth. It's not really tied into that much at all, because it's so heavily nurture based. Like, my opinions on things were not something I was innately born with. How I react to certain things. There are some things that, like, I react in certain ways, certain situations because of my father and, like, what I've inherited from him. But at the same time, a lot of that has been nurtured away because of my mom and, like, the rest of my family. So, like, I wouldn't say that's also true. Talent, though, speaking specifically as, like, the innate ability of one person to be good at something, that is true. That is something that's hard locked, right? You can always become more skilled at something. You can never become more talented at something. That's what I always believe in, right? Like, for example, as a pencil man, as an artist, I would say I wasn't really talented. I wouldn't say I'm talented now. But what I have done is work on it over and 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 over again. And now I look at some of my art from just a year ago and I'm like, wow, that's buns compared to what I can do now, because I've been drawing literally every single day. So I've increased my skill level, but I haven't gotten any more talented. That talent is something that truly is innate, in my opinion. You can always refine your skills. You can't necessarily refine your talent. So I agree with that alone. And I also do agree with the idea that people aren't equal, no matter what. Like, as we are all equals in the terms of we are all human beings. But yeah, a person who's 5 feet tall, 120 pounds soaking wet is not equal physically to a person who's 6'8", 250 pounds soaking wet. Like, they're not the same. And that is true, something that is innate from birth. But at the same time, that doesn't mean a person who wasn't born with that much talent or has, like, an off physique, doesn't mean they can't be dangerous or threatening in their own way. So, let's say people aren't equal, but each being has a suitable way of life. Horses can run fast, birds can fly, Creatures just need to live in accordance with nature. Only humans are unnatural. I don't, like, once again, I don't think so. And funnily enough, it goes back to what I talked about earlier. I guess, and I say it all the time, right? Whenever people ask me for advice on creating content, especially creating content consistently, they're always like, how do you do it? How do you do it? How do you do it? And a lot of times I just say, you kind of just have to, and find out if you like it or not, right? Like, for the longest time, if you've been here, I know there are some people who watch the blog reviews who have been here since the ancient days of the channel, all the way back to 2017. Like, the ancient days, like nearly 10 years ago now. But, if you go back to the ancient days of the channel, me, posting every single day, multiple videos, day after day after day, that was like literally impossible, right? So my natural disposition wasn't to create content and it just wasn't a thing I did. I made content whenever I felt like it. But then I locked in. I was like, okay, let me do it. And I did. Like, like saying every being has a suitable way of life and that we should not do things that are beyond that doesn't make sense. I don't think that, like, it's changed not how the world works in many ways. Let's see. Choppa's locking down Rayo. If you don't move! Let's see. Only humans are unnatural. I'm so congested. I can feel it. I can, like, literally, I can't even breathe out my nose right now. Let's see. They chase after unattainable dreams and create pointless conflict and despair. Inflate their egos far past reality. Someone without aptitude can never defeat someone who has it. That doesn't mean don't dream. It means don't dream beyond yourself. That's wrong. That's wrong. Like, once again, I can only say that, speaking purely for me. Ask me 10 years ago. Okay, unfortunately I have to say more than 10. I used to say 10 all the time. Now more. After like 15 years. After 15 years ago, what I do, based on what I had at the time, I wouldn't be in my current professional role, my current content creation role, my current personality role, my current, like I wouldn't exist. I think, and I'm not saying, like, but even then, I imagine the absurdity of humanity. Imagine if no one really said, we'll never be able to fly in the sky like birds. And, like, we just live with that. Then we wouldn't fly in the sky like birds. Like, the idea of a car. You go back 100 years ago. Okay, not 100, once again. Time is fly. Time is full a lot. Go back 200 years ago and explain a car to somebody. They would look at you funny. What do you mean there's a gigantic 2-ton rolling beast that we let teenagers drive? The literal gargantuan metal death machine, and some teenagers drive it religiously because they need to get to certain places. It sounds literally impossible, right? That's how it is, though. Now, I think I can say, okay, it still needs to be more than 100. Go back, like, 150 years ago. Explain a plane to somebody. Oh, yeah, it's a big hunk of metal that flies across the sky and is now so much part of regular human life that if they didn't exist, then human society would function as it does. Doesn't make sense. But in the past, those were unattainable dreams. Does that mean we never should have done them? No. And I think the same thing applies on an individual level. You may say, Pennsylvania, you're talking to grand scale. What about on the smaller scale? Once again, I just use me. I can even go even smaller scale than just the general content creation thing, because that may not be as relatable. But specifically for Blue Lock. You know I picked a Blue Lock on a whim, right? Saw the anime, watched a clip or two, was like, oh, that's neat. Then I picked a Blue Lock, and now I'm obsessed with it. And I review it every week. It's one of the best performing series on the channel, too. And I love that. But that's just how it is. What I do now is an unattainable dream for many people. Does that mean they shouldn't do it? No. I encourage every single person I meet to do content creation because I think it's fun. I think it's freeing. I think it's amazing. But in a way, it was an unattainable dream. But the thing that's allowed me to do, and the people that's allowed me to meet and talk to, like, that is unattainable. That's unrealistic. But it's happened. It's real. It's possible. Do it. So I don't think you shouldn't dream beyond yourself. I think you should. I do believe that I believe in the phrase, high hopes, low expectations. I always hope for great, amazing, legendary, juicy, scrumptious things. But I understand that sometimes those hopes cannot be met. That's why I have low expectations. So I'm always still happy regardless. But I think the adage, the belief of don't dream beyond yourself is a little, not even just like pessimistic. Unironically, I think it's a little bit unrealistic. like unironically, I think it's actually a bit unrealistic to be like, oh yeah, you shouldn't reach beyond your station ever. You should never dream beyond that. Because who even is yourself? Who are you? I don't know. I don't even know who I am fully at this point. I'm a full-grown man. I've been a full-grown man for a minute now. But even I don't fully know who I am. So how would I even know what a dream beyond me even is? I don't know. I don't know. So I say do it. Ball out. So I disagree with you fundamentally. I think the narrative does too, but let's see. It means don't dream beyond yourself. If you saw a lion trying to fly, anyone would think it was foolish. If you saw a human trying to fly, you think the same thing, but look what humans did. That's the thing. Unfortunately, as much as I am a big component and believer of, humans at the end of the day are animals. Like, no matter how crazy, how special, how dominant we are, we're animals. We need the same thing as every other animal. We are animals. Unfortunately, I don't think you can characterize humans in the same way that you can characterize most animals. Because of the variance in us. I think of me and my own little brother. We are fundamentally different people despite growing up in the same household with the same parents, with the same grandparents, with the same literally everything. I said, I was the older one and he was the younger one. And of course that is a big difference, but still, we are completely different people despite growing up in the exact same place, in the exact same town. We're just different people. So like, you can't, I don't know, I don't vibe with you. I don't think he's spitting right now. I don't think he is. Let's see. It's better to just live naturally. If everyone were to live in accordance with their suitability, the whole world would be happier and more efficient. But once again, you don't know what that is. Like, if you were to ask me, once again, going like 15 years ago now, if you were to ask me 15 years ago what my current profession would be, it wouldn't be what I'm doing now. I didn't realize I was good at it until I did it. On a whim. Same with like realistically, same with content creation. Same with even public speaking at all, right? Because I credit a lot of my ability to public speak and communicate, interview well, and like do all the things I do because of like my family lineage and how I was raised. But I wouldn't have known I could do that if the scenario never come up to me. I wouldn't know I was good at content creation until I did it. So you still need to do things that you don't know that you can actually do in order to know that you can't do them or can do them very, very well. I'm not even saying I'm very well at content creation. It's just something that comes easier to me, that I'm talented in, quote unquote. But it was not a part of my innate biology. I wasn't born to be a content creator, as far as I know. But it's something I do. I wasn't born to be able to do public speaking. That's what I do. So no, I think Hugo's. I just gotta like. It's a nice idea on like a most base fundamental level. If you truly are just thinking of humans as like machines, which we are literal biological machines, but like. I don't think it works in the context of like the greater Blue Lock narrative, and also just real life. Like it's a very limited and unrealistic way to live your life, and you miss out on a lot if you try to live that way. Especially considering you just don't know who you are. I know people who are twice my age who could confidently look me in the eyes, despite being some of the wisest, most well-spoken and knowledgeable people I know. Who, if I were to ask them, "Hey, who are you?" they'd be like, I got like a 50-50 shot on giving you something that may be somewhat accurate, but I don't even know. So like. You go wrong. But let's see. It means to follow your destiny at the cellular level. This is my... What is with him patting Usagi on the back, bro? First he walks up to him, pats him on the back. Usagi runs away, and then Hugo keeps up with him and is like... It pats him again. Let's see. This is my philosophy. Suitable destiny theory. Yeah, so what? Yeah, me too, Usagi. Like, okay. Cool story, bro. Potato chip. And, let's see. So what? You say I don't have the talent to be a striker? That my specs could be more suited to be a midfielder? All of that. Okay, so this is what I kept hearing. This is what I kept hearing. I kept hearing Usagi conceded to be like he'd be better as a midfielder. This idea that Usagi, but like, It is that irrational, it is that absurdity that once again makes us human. We are, in many ways, we are governed by instincts and things that are like beyond, like from our subconscious. We are still beings with subconscious and base instincts and traits and tendencies that we follow because of our biology. And I'm not even saying that other animals can't do it. We've seen other animals operate in ways that are not optimal to their base instincts in existence, right? Like we've seen that happen all the time. And it's because of that. They think the idea of suitable destiny series sounds nice if you're lazy. But even then, I don't think so. I don't even think it just doesn't. It sounds too simple for such a complex and crazy thing known as life. Right? I think that's how I put it. Let's see. But it is interesting. But then again, Isagi has admitted many a time before, right? Like I think of back in the interview that he had post Manshine, where I believe he was literally asked, "Hey, don't you think you'd be a better midfielder, like supporting Kaiser?" And he was like, "I guess, but like that's not what I want." And that is true. It's not what you want, so don't go for it. Obviously, there are many cases in real life where one needs to do something they don't want to do in order to survive. If I didn't have to work, I probably wouldn't. But I gotta work. But luckily enough, within that framework of something that I need to do in order to survive, I enjoy my work. I need to pay the bills, obviously, but I enjoy doing what I do to pay the bills. So like it literally counterbalances itself. I don't have to worry about something like that. At least plaguing me directly. Something that doesn't bother me. Because I work in a field that I enjoy. But of course, I can't just spontaneously up and quit because I don't have the means to. And in a way, all I do outside of like the necessity stuff is living unsuitably. As Ego says, then why do you persist in living so unsuitably? Because it's what I want. Because I vibe out. Because I ball out. Same thing with Isai. Ball out, Isai. Let's see. Because Blue Lock taught me that you can rewrite your destiny with ego. And it is true. It is like, and that's why I personally find Blue Lock very inspiring and very true to form. Like, I'm not saying you need to go absolutely insane with the self-indulgence and self-respect, but like, if there's anyone who has to believe in you before anyone else who can believe in you, it has to be you. Like, obviously, when you're like a baby, like your parents are gonna believe in you, that you can make it and grow up. But like, especially once you're an adult, I'd say, especially in like the teenage years, even early adulthood years, you're definitely like, it's harder and harder and harder to really like define yourself because society pulls you in a bunch of different ways, your family pulls you in a bunch of different ways, your friends. But like, regardless, as amazing as your family is, and the fact that you exist because of them, as amazing as that is, and amazing that you are the way you are because your friends surrounding you and the environment surrounding you, you still need to recognize that you are you, the individual, and no one else will be you. You won't even fully understand you. So you need to be able to believe in you first, and then other people will believe in you. That's how I've always kind of viewed life. Not always, but that's how I've come to view life. And that's why I think it is important to rewrite your quote-unquote base biological destiny, your cellular adaptation or existence, through ego, through belief in the self, because the self is the strongest thing that you have, because it's the only thing that makes you you. Let's see. Leave it to me. Oh. Well, he does pass the ball up. I guess he knows, even if he says, hey, I'm not going to do that, I'm not going to be a midfielder. He knows the time and place. And that is the whole idea that he's already admitted to. The idea that he simply wants to become a machine to create goals. Sometimes it'll be his own goals, sometimes it won't be. In this case, it looks like he's willing for it to not be his own. And he is popping out the metavision. So let's see. Leave it to me. I'm going to obliterate them in their destiny. Okay, Red. Destiny isn't something so easily changed. Like I care. Idiot. Julian Loki versus Rick. And that's the end of the chapter. All right. Hold on. AW chapter. So W, in fact. I need to blow my nose again. Sorry. Give me 1 second. I literally feel it. Dog. Why does it feel it? Every time I breathe out through my nose, it's like breathing out through a balloon, bro. Like, that's me exhaling through my nose. Oh. Why does it feel like I'm pumping up a tire right now? But a very W chapter. I like it because it's clearly this step that, like, Hugo, in many ways, like I mentioned this in his My Thoughts video as well, Hugo is what Isagi could become if he's not careful. It's being so focused on logic, being so focused on what should happen, what should exist, and how things should be based on the logic, that he loses that base understanding and emotional intelligence that allows one to understand the variance and possibilities in humanity. So ego, or Hugo's lack of ego for the understanding or limited understanding of human existence, is a good thing to pair Isagi against and to see Isagi overcome. The only thing is, though, they're likely still going to lose this game. So I think Isagi will overcome Hugo, but he won't surpass or beat Hugo this game. Same with Look. I think Blue Lock will lose, but they will come out proving themselves in a way, but still ultimately fall short simply because of a lack of ability so far. But let's see. Luckily enough, I do have the next chapter right here. Yeah! Alright. Chapter 333, Natural Board. Hold on, let me pre-draw for this one too. Come on. It's Big Lock. Let's see. Oh, like 333. Golly. We're already at 333. I'm going to blink and we're going to be at 444. I'm telling you. Let's see. All right, Rin versus Loki. But though, I like that Loki, he does still seem genuinely interested in Rin, right? Like to a degree that I find intriguing for Loki, right? Like I feel like Loki views Rin in the same way that Noah views Loki. Like in terms of at least specifically Japan, the closest threat to him and something he could use to make himself stronger. That's how I feel like Loki sees Rin. Specifically, what comes to mind is him snatching Rin up by the shirt, by the uniform in the New East League, and being like, what on earth was that? Like he sees something in Rin that could make him better. And that, like, it is a very, I'll admit though, it is a very twisted way to view the world. I don't think you should view everyone like that, but there have been people in my own life where I look at them and I'm like, oh yeah, you're gonna make me better. Like you provide something I could not get anywhere else, and that which you provide will make me greater as an individual. I've had that in almost like every single walk of life I've had so far, whether it be on the physical side, whether it be on the mental side, whether it be on the educational side, whether it be even in the content creation field. There's so many different areas in life where I've seen someone who does something, and I'm like, I can use you to make me better. And I think that's how Loki sees Rin, and like how Noah sees Loki, and obviously by proxy Kaiser, and obviously Noah saw Isagi as a means to get Kaiser to rise up, so Kaiser could also surpass him alone or rival him in the same way that Loki does, all in order for Noah to get stronger. But let's see. I cannot get over the fact that Loki has the Vegeta cut, bro. Brody, fix that line. But and I know. I'm one to be talking. I haven't got to cut in 2 weeks. Give me some time. I'm gonna cut tomorrow. Hold on. Give me some time. Let me cook. I'm sorry. I know I need a lineup desperately. Look at the beard though. Look at the beard. Real still on the left side. No, look at the beard though. Let's see. Okay, Toshi say. Who is he feeling like? Straight motion right through the hitting the nutmeg on Loki round start. Okay, Rin. Oh, but yeah, like that is honestly truly insane. Like, obviously, funnily enough, this guy wasn't faster than me. I can confidently say this guy was not faster than me, but I do specifically remember this individual, and notably, we never even played soccer together because it was in high school. But he was on the track team with me. He was never in. I don't even think he was ever in like top 8 fastest either. But whenever we did any sort of like sharp mobility drills, or we were in gym class, for example, this man could pivot on a dime and just go somewhere. Like, I don't know, especially because I was always a bigger guy. Like, for me to hard cut, like I could do it. I could run in full speed, dash off 1 foot, and then go in a different direction. But it was always more difficult for me to immediately get right back up to that speed. I'm definitely, and probably still to this day, I need to get back into running and get back into proper shape. I've just been lifting weights recently, but I need to also get my cardio back up. But it was always, I'm a kick merchant. I've always been a kick merchant, right? Like, you may have me in the first 20, 30 meters, but wait until my legs actually get into motion, bada bing, bada boom, then I'm going to pass you. That's how I got up to where I did. But someone like Loki, someone like Corona, someone like even Zantetsu, they have fantastic pivot and burst mobility. Like that level of fine-tuned control and immediate speed, that is always impressive to me. And I think it's because I've always, like, my favorite physical stat in everything has always been speed, right? If it's one thing I've always glazed, it's always speed. So when I see Loki just pull something off like this, like, that is crazy. To get schmicks, to get nutmeg, but to be able to immediately pivot, turn around, and burst. Equally with it, ain't he? Let's see. The immediate neutralization, though. So Rin smacks him off. So at least they are comparable physically, except Loki has a higher speed stat. Let's see. Oh, interesting, though. So Loki does put him in the neutral 50-50. Or, like, he does cancel out Rin's forward momentum. Oh, but they knock each other off. They neutralize. But then Rin is actually facing the goal. Okay. Oh, and he's immediately going for a jumping. Okay, Rin. Okay. Let's see. There's no way he scores, though. There's no way he scores. Yo, it is such a strong. He literally just is Vegeta. First things first, I am Vegeta. Second, I am Vegeta. Let's see. Okay, he's obviously going in for the cross. Let's see. Okay, Loki charging in. Huh? Of all people, and at a basic point blank range. Golly. That's okay. So yeah, Hugo, he really is. he truly is like a more offensively centered, much bigger Onazi, or like midfield centered offensive Onazi, because the vert he has to have there. Look at where he intercepted the ball. Like, this may be, like, obviously he's not like right over Loki's head, but at least from here, he must have truly, like, we don't see him, which is a little unfortunate. To me, I like actually seeing where the characters are before they just pop out. In fact, let me see. Can I see it here? Can I see it here? So this is Rin. This is Loki. This is Rayo. This is that other guy. This is a defender. This is a defender. So I'm assuming probably like right around here, maybe hidden by Rin's arms, is Hugo and Isagi. Because this is Bachara and the Zephyr dude. And that's Chop, I think. Well, maybe Chop. Or it's another one of the France Phil players. But for Hugo to reach that, Rin breaks past Loki. So probably breaks past Loki right around here. Neutralizes. Hugo has to be right by them, just out of Rin's purview. He must be legit directly in Rin's shadow, because then that's the only way Hugo could be here in time to intercept the ball where he did. No, in fact, unless I'm reading this wrong, maybe I am. Is there an inner line? There is an inner line. So, yeah, unless I'm reading this wrong, because this is right here. Yeah, Rin goes for the shot, seemingly outside the goal box entirely. And Hugo intercepts the ball, possibly right outside the goal box as well. It's either he intercepts the ball right outside of this broader goal box, or like right here. But still, he must be right in Rin's shadow to be there to intercept it. And then the ball goes out. One of the rare times we see the ball actually go out. In fact, I think since it's Hugo who knocked out, I think we're actually going to get a corner kick here. But that's a little crazy. So Isagi didn't do anything. No one was there to follow up on that. That was supposed to be a Rin solo venture. Oh, so close! Hugo's impreg? Let's see. Hugo's incredible block protected France's goal. Stop flexing on me no more. I know you can do multiple art styles. Please! Let's see. Is he for real? Did they predict that shot too? I mean, like, I got to think of it like this, right? Even for the genius archetypes, right? Like what we saw with Bachara and Chigiri last chapter. I'm assuming it's not even the idea that they're perfect. Well, to be fair, it seems like Bachara and Chigiri got perfect prediction maxing. But for Rin in particular, right? Rin, the endless, ever-evolving monster. It's a probability game. It really is always, and like, in fact, you can even tell it's a probability game because of how Hugo blocked it. He blocked it off like the back of his heel. If his foot is like 2 degrees lower, 2 degrees higher, or it hits a different part of his body, like, it doesn't go the way that it goes. I'm assuming Francis is just playing a mean probability game. Because when you're doing something like that, as long as the margin of error is small, it's okay to give. Right? I think of it like, from fighting games to Pokemon. I don't know. I've been on Pokemon Showdown Kick again. I'm playing Doubles OU. But I think of it like this. I know for a fact, if it's not 100%, it's either hits or it doesn't, right? Like, that's kind of how Pokemon is. But I play on probabilities. One of my main teams right now, especially for Doubles OU, is Torque and Chi-Yu. The thing that I do is I click Heat Wave twice. Unless I'm thunking into straight double resistor, I'm not opening with those two, which I usually do. I am clicking Heat Wave twice. Why? Heat Wave is a 90 base power move with 95% accuracy. It has missed and cost me games before, but the reason I go with that is because 95 base accuracy still gives me spread damage. And I need that spread damage while I'm sun boosted, Terra boosted, choice specs, all that. I need everything I can to do as much damage as possible. That's presumably what France is doing. They have a percentage base. Maybe they're more like a Sandshear Storm Landorus type beat, where it's like 80% chance, where they're like, okay, Rin's probably going to do something like this based on what he's done before. And thusly, Hugo is in the right position based on the information and data that he had. It is probably that much of a margin of error, because you still have to account for the unpredictability of geniuses. But if a genius has a style, you can work around that style. And that's the thing. Which is why you may need to call up Baro and Shido at this point. Because while those two are also geniuses with that styles, they are known for their insanity even amongst the genius class. Let's see. Did they predict that shot too? They knew they knew Rin. Oh, so even Isagi knows, right? They know Rin. Why can't I can't speak properly with my nose clogged. What? Let's see. They know Rin likes to shoot while colliding with defenders, so Loki restricted his shot course, and Hugo blocked it. No, it's not just that. All the tactics we prepared, plus the quirks of our individual skills, and even our ways of thinking, have been logically analyzed. Yeah. Why wouldn't, like you said, I don't know why you're shocked by it. Like, why wouldn't they do that? Why would they? And in fact, funnily enough, Isagi's so shocked about this when he's done the same thing before. Remember, I believe it was... No, he literally did. Funnily enough, he literally did it to Rin. He literally did it to Rin in PXG. Remember when he was playing with Kaiser? He went in for the crash shot intentionally, clashed with Rin, knowing Kaiser would be there to pull off the exact same save that Hugo did, except Hugo bounces it off the heel, and it's a much closer and clearly more tight save. Meanwhile, Kaiser barely managed to get it with the tip of his foot. But still, you've done this kind of play before, Isagi. Based on data and information you've gained, why are you shocked that other people, including you knowing that Metavision is a shared thing, why are you shocked that they prepped? I don't know, man. I feel like this is a little bit concerning, Isagi. Did you truly think the world wouldn't witness you? After how powerful and dangerous and devious you and Blue Lock has become, did you truly think they would let you lie? Why? Isagi Yoichi, you learned to fear the world and respect it, but you didn't think it would learn to fear and respect you? How intriguing! Okay, let's see. They have the right guys in the right place and are performing at 100%. Don't worry about that. They're performing at 100%. It's a team of ultimate suitability. In a way, yeah. And I'll give credit. Nomura is lazy with some eyes twice over. Like, why? Why are these two guys like this? But hold on. We're gonna talk like this for a little bit. See how that doesn't even make a difference? I'm holding my nose closed, but I sound exactly the same. Or at least I feel like I sound exactly the same. But nose, please clear. I'm gonna have to go do something to clear my nose after this. I still have more videos to record. But this makes perfect. This is what Blue Lock should be. In a way. Like, obviously, Blue Lock isn't fully this, but this is what Blue Lock should be. Take your variety of abilities and allocate them appropriately. I'm shocked that Isagi's shocked by this. Let's see. Is there any way for us to beat France? I mean, yeah. You're gonna need to level up the kookiness a little bit. You're unironically, you're going to have to hit the ever eternal cycle of, oh, I knew that you knew what I was going to do, so I did something different. It is that counter conditioning to the conditioning, right? It's the 50-50 of the 50-50. Where, okay, every single time I knock you down, I'm going in for a high, because it's the harder mix of the block. I'm going to hit you with a 2-arm now. Do you know how many times I've won games off of conditioning someone for the entire match that, oh, yeah, I always go high. I promise you I'm going to go high. Oh, I knock you down, I'm going to go high. And then I go for a low. Or I hit Dragon Rush, specifically in fighters cases. Or in Smash Bros, right? Oh no, I see you shield every single time, but I still attack anyway. I'm gonna grab you now. It's the idea of, actually no, because that's the basic conditioning concept. The idea I just mentioned with the idea of, I know that you know what I was gonna do, so I did something different. It's the idea of you get conditioned, or how do I explain it in fighting game terms? I know some people don't get the fighting game terms, but I feel like it's the easiest way to explain it. You know what I'm going to do because you've conditioned me or you've read my playstyle. But since I know that you know my playstyle, I'm going to do something completely contradictory to my playstyle to catch you off guard. That's what Bullet needs to do. You have this variety of abilities. You have this crazy level of aptitude and insanity on your team. Use it differently. Okay, Chigiri, your speed is locked down. Go start zigzagging. Start going absolutely crazy. Or play at different tempos. Mix everything up. So even if they do have these perfect counters that could adjust, make the fact that they need to adjust a problem. That everything isn't exactly predictable. There's insanity within that predictability. Or a probability in that predictability. That's what I think it would be. Let's see. You Blue Lock guys are good. It is roof of my mouth here. It is so congested. I don't know why. Let's see. You Blue Lock guys are good. Taking the diligent and clever group dynamics of Japanese soccer and mixing in the individualistic philosophy of everyone striving to be the world's best striker produces a hybrid team with the best of both approaches. Your coach must be an exceptional man. Your coach must be an exceptional man to have pulled off this experiment. But its effectiveness ends here. But I still don't think, like, I personally, it may be just because I've seen so many upsets in my life, I think even having all the information and knowing so much, it still isn't necessarily enough to absolutely guarantee a win. You know how many matches I've thrown that I should have won? You know how many matches I've won that my opponent should have thrown? Have you, like, if you've watched anything in the professional world, in terms of any sports, a team can have another team down dead to rights, and then they can come back or lose and set, like, these, knowing everything does not mean it's automatically impossible. It just means it's improbable. But unfortunately, life is a series of improbabilities and probabilities. So just because things look a certain way doesn't mean they actually are a certain way. Let's see. Talent, 66%. Environment, 33%. Luck, 1%. I guess so. That's simply how it's characterized. I believe these are the percentages of components needed for victory. But as for Blue Lock, this team has been scraping by on the 1% luck that you pull in, Isagi Yoichi. Huh. I mean, I guess the thing is, this team has existed for like one game, but I wouldn't say entirely. Mainly because, like, we know for a fact one of the big things of Blue Lock, as important as luck is, right? Luck is very important. We know for a fact that one of Ego's biggest messages that he's hammered in is, like, you need to have reproducible goals. You need to have a formula. You need to have something that works every time. Like, essentially, you need to have a game plan. And that game plan must be effective. The reason my dumb, stupid little Pokemon team works and got me all the way up to like the 1500s, and I'm going to see if I can keep refining it and tweaking it a little bit so it can get me even higher, is because it is a simple strategy that works. Oh, I'm sorry. You're running a Trick Room team? Die first turn so you can't set up Trick Room. I've done it many times before. Double Heat Wave slaughters things. Slaughters Trick Room teams. Oh, I'm sorry. You're running Balance? Shame about that. You don't have a good fire resist. You don't have a fire quad resist. Explode. Die. Like, it is that case where you can just, sometimes you need to have something that you just hit a button and it works. And that's what Blue Lock has. It has a variety of button hitters. To the point where, like, hey, Chigiri has the ball, Speed Blitz, darn, it's probably going to end up in something positive. Botcher has the ball, he's probably mixing somebody. Like, there's too many good ideas and formulas and reproducible goals on Blue Lock for me to say that the team has been scraping by on the 1% luck we pulled in. Like, the last game disproves that entirely. The whole idea of, oh, it's just luck. Sure, there are things that are benefited by in the core of that luck that Isagi Yoichi is definitely taking advantage of. Like, this moment right here in particular is technically an idea where they scrape by on luck. But even then, the game was tied by their individual abilities up to that point. And very specifically, for this goal especially, this is a culmination of skill and understanding, and very specifically, a logical approximation based on the information that Isagi had gathered throughout the entirety of that game. So I don't think that was luck. I think Hugo's a little bit wrong here. The team hasn't been scraping by, and Isagi himself hasn't even been scraping by on that. He of all people is not one to fully dive in and dance and believe in destiny. He's one to dance against destiny in many ways. Let's see. On the 1% luck that you pull in, Yoichi Isagi. Therefore, preventing that luck from occurring is the optimal way to crush Blue Lock. Just try it, you arrogant fiend. Darn. Isagi. I mean, it's pitch soggy. It makes sense. Let's see. See, you're irritated yapping. Wait. But I ain't gonna lie, he's like, he clocked you right there, Brody. Brody, he really said, darn, G, you fell for the rage bait, huh? We'll see. I can't believe yapping. But to be fair, as a yapper myself, I do appreciate seeing the term yapping used more. Let's see. See, your irritated yapping proves I hit the mark. Ugh. But, like, I think once again, in partial degrees, Hugo's right. But I also think he's wrong. Like, of course he's going to snap back against you. You're insulting his entire team and philosophy. But that doesn't automatically make you right. In fact, I think, like, obviously we are operating from a third eye reader's view, so we know for a fact that Hugo's incorrect. But I feel like even watching the games themselves, you can know that it's not all luck. Or not all Isagi's luck that has gotten his team wins on wins. It is truly an understanding of one's opponents, an understanding of utility, an understanding of not just team utility, but field utility. Like, it is a culmination of so many factors that luck, as he mentions, is only 1%. It's only a piece. All that piece is clearly important. It's not the core of what Blue Lock is. In fact, if Blue Lock were just that, Ego would hate it, but he knows it's not that. So, I don't know, Hugo. I feel like, I'm not saying he's just yapping, but like, I don't think he's correct fully. But like, and as for the serious case of Yoichi Isagi dependency, but like, I guess to a degree, but I don't know, man. I feel like not entirely. I feel like Blue Lock is still more than capable without Isagi, or even with Isagi just as a piece of it. Let's see. Right now, the team continues to grow by means of your boundless imagination. Paradoxically, this means you can't be allowed to stop thinking or evolving. The moment you stop growing, your team will collapse. That pressure is causing you anxiety, making your plays easy to predict and crush. Stop trying to crush Isagi, bro. You're like 7th in line. But I guess in a way he's right. But also at the same time, I just don't think he is. While Isagi's development and imagination and consistent evolution is definitely a core part of Blue Lock, there's so many other, like I mentioned earlier, so many fully functional cores as well, that I could genuinely see a portion of a game, even possibly this game, where Isagi's benched. And they work just fine without him. Sure, he does have the best dynamics with everybody, and he does raise the level of play, but there's so many other characters who raise the level of play. There are characters who raise Isagi's level of play. So, like, I don't know, man. I think Hugo is looking at it a little bit too narrow-mindedly. Of course, so far he's been proven right, so I don't blame him for not believing that Blue Lock is more than just the Isagi Yoichi show of endless evolution and imagination. But knowing the narrative and knowing what I've seen so far with my own two eyes, I think he's wrong. Though the whole idea of the pressure causing him anxiety, making his place easy to predict and crush, that is true. Isagi is sort of not necessarily fully under pressure, but it is kind of fully under pressure. And I do still get that, right? Obviously, I can't relate to the full degree. Isagi's literally the leader of the upcoming football team of the world, essentially. But I understand nervousness and uncertainty in oneself. But I think a very important skill that Isai's going to develop, that he already kind of has, but I think he'll reinforce, and it's something that I've developed and reinforced over the years, is the idea of taking uncertainty and rather than getting worried, getting excited. Which Isagi clearly has a little bit. He smiles here, but he's still sweating. But I feel like, very, very akin to cursed energy in JJK, I feel like you need to take any uncertainty, any fear you have, and use it as motivation. Use it as a basis. In many ways, I've heard people say, I use the anger that fuels me as a motivation for everything I do. I think it's a little bit unhealthy, but also I do get it. The idea of taking something that is negative and using it as fuel for something positive. That sort of redirection mentality where you take all that negativity, all that hatred, all that evil that's built up in you, and you just put it somewhere else. You take all that fuel, take all that tension, all that stress, all that cortisol, and just put it somewhere else. The mind, the body is a beautiful and twisted thing where you, unironically, gaslighting yourself is the best thing you can do. It is truly a beautiful trick of the mind. Placebos are real. In the fact that they aren't real, but we if we believe the placebo 9 out of 10 times, we can almost make it work. It is wild, the power of human belief, especially in oneself. I talked about it earlier. I have gaslit myself into making daily content production a routine. That is me. I have gaslit myself into working out every single day. That is me. It is me against me. And even if there are uncertain things and things I'm worried about, and this, that, and the third, that all just goes back into fueling me. And that's what Isagi needs to do. He needs to, instead of fearing, or no, it's okay to feel fear and uncertainty, but it's important to not be consumed by it, rather to utilize it to become even greater. That's what the thing is. Let's see. Actually, the instant you felt any pressure in the scenario proved you're unsuitable to be number one. If you were suitable, wouldn't you be overjoyed right now, being the center of the world's attention? But once again, it goes back to the idea of human variance, right? Where I think Hugo is going to be wrong. Obviously, just by the nature of the narrative. What is the story about Blue Lock? He's like becoming the number one striker, right? Like, no doubt. But I think specifically in the ideas of how does something work in regards to human potential, human interaction, anyone can falter. What truly defines you isn't the fact that you can falter, but it's whether or not you can get back up from when you falter. I fumbled the bag many times before, despite being a person who says, I'm going to upload every day. There's some days where I don't upload, or some days I forget to do a community post, or some days I forget stuff. Okay, and I just keep going. Well, missed the deadline. Whoop-de-doo. And now I'm back. Same thing in the professional world. Oh no, I made a mistake. Okay, I'll just keep going and go on and go. Like it is that idea of you are defined by what you can choose to continue to do, not where you have failed in the past. I think the same thing for Isagi here. He's going to define Isagi Yoichi is a character who's defined by falling far and getting right back up, and this is the same case here. Let's see. Hold on, let me see. Loki. Oh man, we're gonna get the Loki. All right, let's see. Loki, on the other hand, is a perfect fit. He was born with the best physical abilities in the world, and lacks the slightest doubt that he can become the world's best striker. His body and mind are utterly suitable to make him the natural-born number one. And in a way that is true, but even then, Hugo, as I've said it before, I'll say it again. You can never truly know You can never truly know or understand what goes on inside the mind of another. And sure, Loki on the out front can seem perfect and infallible and untouchable and unreachable, but we've seen Loki already be nettled, be touched by the words of others. Isagi Yoichi's own words, ironically enough. We've seen Loki feel, if not challenged in the idea that he couldn't be number one, we see he does still have a sense of pride and ego that can be challenged, that can be shattered. And ultimately, if it truly was the second you show a moment of weakness or a moment of instability in any way, shape, or form, you failed, then Loki has failed. On panel. Who knows how many times off panel in his backstory? We have no idea. So I think Hugo, once again, he's thinking too narrowly. He's genuinely, I could call it a human glaze, but he's genuinely underestimating humanity and specifically just a general human's potential to just be better than they were. To be better than they were, to overcome, to develop and change and grow. He's undervaluing that under the idea that, oh, well, you can only develop and change and grow in certain ways. You can never do this, that, and the third to change yourself. Even though, ultimately, one of the most core things about humanity is that we can change literally whatever we want. Like, darn near anything we want. Of course, there's some things we can't change, like height, even then, surgery, but I'm kidding. But, like, in terms of, like, personality and understanding and self-perseverance and self-motivation, that stuff can change on a dime. And sometimes you can force yourself to change. I will admit, as much as I love content creation, there's some days where I just don't feel like recording. And I record anyway, and I love it. It's self-gaslight. It works. It works. Literally just huff your own copium. Trust me, it'll do wonders for you. Let's see. I'll help him along. We get him to be where he couldn't go on his own. But see, that's it. So, I don't know. Sometimes the Hugo's just yapping. Because that's it right there. I'll help him along and get him to where he couldn't go on his own. The idea that he could not reach something on his own already proves your idea is wrong, Hugo. Because if it truly was his suitable destiny to be number one, he wouldn't need help. He wouldn't need your help in specific. He wouldn't need you. In fact, especially now knowing I want to be the world's second best, I know for a fact, I know as an actual factual, wiggling my toes, not even Loki agrees with Hugo, he just uses him. Want to know why? Charles. What is Hugo? A new General 11 member. That's a midfielder. Why did Loki mention that he needs Charles? Because he needs Charles to evolve. Hugo is too limited. He is too bound by logic. He's too conscripted in his ideas of rationality to the point where Loki I don't know if we may actually get to see more than anything, but I think Loki finds Hugo boring, limiting, not enough in something that Charles is. As much as a contrarian and disagreeable and mess the little imp boy is, he has these beyond oneself dreams. He has these ideas that will force Loki to evolve. I don't think Hugo would ever force Loki to evolve. I think Hugo represents stagnation. And that's where he shall fall short and he will fail. And why Loki needs Charles in the first place? Because a big reason that I was wondering what Hugo was going to be was like, well, Fran/Loki already has Charles. So why does Loki need Charles if they already have a new General 11 midfielder? This is why. Loki probably, or Hugo wants to be on Loki's team. Because the big reason I saw, maybe the reason Loki needs Charles is because Hugo only plays for France nationally. He would never actually play with Loki on their own individual club teams. Clearly that's not true. If he wants to be the world's second best and weren't getting to where he couldn't be on his own, then he wants to play with Loki. And he probably does play with Loki, but Loki probably got bored. Loki probably realized, you're not enough. You're not good enough. Or even if you are good enough, you're good enough for the basics. I need more. I need to grow ever stronger. And I don't think Hugo is that. But someone like Charles, someone who believes and embodies unpredictability, chaos, this, that, and the third, I think he would most certainly exist and help someone as insane and next level as Loki to get even stronger. So that's where clearly Hugo falls short. Let's say, huh? You get it right, Yoichi Isagi. It doesn't mean you're second place. It means you can have a special bird's eye view as you control your organization from the second highest spot. You understand the number one most of all, and you're basically equals. Follow this path, Yoichi Isagi. If you embrace your destiny as second best, Blue Lock can become even stronger. And see, this is very interesting. It's very interesting. As last review, I talked about how Hugo could hypothetically be projecting on Isagi. The whole idea of, well, you need to be number 2 because I'm number 2. And you're not built for this because I'm not built for that. And you're a bum, so I'm a bum. Or I'm a bum, you're a bum. Like, he's projecting. But someone pointed out, in fact, I'm going to say someone, because they comment so consistently on all the videos and leave such fantastic and elaborate comments. I'm legit going to run. I'm going to drop the comments of my name. I hope they don't mind. But please go peep them in the comments. They will most likely be there. Hold on. Where? Let me go to this. Let me go to search. Let me go to Blue Lock. Blue Locky. All right. Here it is. Let me go here. Let me go here. One of many ASMR. They pointed out to me something that I didn't even consider. The idea that Hugo may not be projecting. He's just truly making sense of it. Because they explained to me how on their actual, because they actually play soccer, on their team, they were a second point utility. They were the number 2. They filled in the role that the number 1 could not do. And that was necessary for their team to function. And they did very, 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 very well with that. So it's not even the idea that Hugo's projecting or saying this, that, and the third. Beyond that, he's genuinely being honest. He's being true and being like, dude, being number 2 is real. Like you that is a important position that needs to be filled, and you can fill it. You can do better. We can do better. I can do better by filling this role, and that's what he's doing. And that's the same thing that one of many ASMR did, and that is a true to form thing. There are roles that need to be filled and things that need to be done. I don't run my own company outside of like the content creation thing. I guess technically, Defensible is like technically a company of sorts. It's its own individual thing. That's me, but I obviously understand that in the professional world too. I don't run my own company. I'm part of a company. I do work with a team of people. And that's essentially what Hugo is proposing here. Hey, sure, you won't be CEO, but you'll be COO. You'll be Chief of Operations. You'll be Chief Financial Officer. You'll be this, that, and the third. You won't be the number 1, but you can choose to be number 2. And in choosing to be number 2, you can become greater. You can make your whole organization and team greater. And notably, I think there is something oddly, like, as much as I disagree with Hugo, and as much as I thought he was projecting before, I do think there is something oddly truthful and real and genuine. Like, this is Hugo offering what he believes is true, honest advice to Isagi. Like, dude, let's be real. You know it. I know it. Suitable Destiny is a thing. We know where we stand. We know who our number 1 should be, the number 1 we should support. Let's do it. And ultimately, just as I mentioned earlier, that Loki views Rin as a piece for his evolution, and Noah views Loki as a piece for his evolution, and views Kaizen for a piece of his evolution, saw Isagi as a piece for Kaizen's evolution to feed Noah's evolution. I think Hugo is saying this to Isagi in a genuine interest and honesty to him, to get him to realize his quote-unquote suitable destiny, and also to make Hugo stronger. Which is very interesting, considering Hugo's whole idea of suitable destiny. But I think he believes that Isagi can definitely take this path and become even greater, and Blow can become ever stronger, so he can crush them and grow ever stronger from there. It is truly a never-ending cycle of, yes, you become stronger, so I become stronger, then I'll become stronger, so you can become stronger, then vice versa, and vice versa, and vice versa. This is honest from Hugo, and I do find that interesting. As much as I disagree with him, as much as I think he's wrong, he's a doodle stupid head in terms of his belief in absolute destiny, suitable destiny, everything's determined by the nature of your birth, this, that, and the third. Not everything, a lot of, but not everything. I think it is interesting to see a character in Blue Lock who is, like I mentioned earlier, this evolved version of Isagi. This is truly, and this is why I said when Isagi said, I'm going to become a machine for nothing but goals, I was like, not really. Because that's what Hugo is. He's become a machine for nothing but goals, nothing but victory. That's the reason why I was like, I don't think I'm going to end up liking Hugo all too much in comparison, because he's literally just Say, right? Like he is Say light. He is the Say we have at France. No, but he's a say of France, where he's like, logically, this is the best thing to do. The best thing I can do is become a midfielder. I can be the greatest midfielder in the world, supporting the greatest striker. I can do better in the secondary role. He's someone who's not necessarily given up, because once again, it seems like he's chosen this path intentionally. But still, he's someone who refuses to rebel against his own destiny, because he thinks it'd be foolish. And I do understand that to certain degrees, but at the same time, I think one should strive to be the best they can be in the way that they want to be, not in the way that necessarily they have to be, when they have the means to do so. And Isagi Yoichi technically has the means to do so. And so did Hugo, presumably, but it looks like he gave that up. But let's see. Oh, darn. Alright. However, if he keeps trying to be the world's best striker, Blue Lock will be annihilated here. And yep, it's a corner kick. Patra doing the corner kick. Alright. Let's see. Alright, and that's the end of the chapter. AW chapter. I like it. Once again, like I mentioned, I disagree with Hugo, like, just fundamentally, but even still, even with my fundamental disagreements with Hugo on the level of, like, I think he's wrong about the civil destiny thing, I think he's wrong about the limited perspective on things, I think he's wrong about all that. I do understand where he's coming from, for one, just based on logical analysis. I do like how he acts as a sort of Isagi that fully went down the role of the I will do anything for the sake of my goals, including that means just winning. He truly is a machine built for goals and victory. I like seeing that side of Hugo because it's just an evolved version of what Isagi could be. Even if it is just say, but France, I do like his interpretation of it. It's notably, in comparison to where Sei clearly was beaten down into this point where he thinks, okay, I can do nothing but support who will truly be number one in the world as a striker. It feels like Hugo genuinely, he reflected and he chose this path entirely on his own. I don't think Hugo had a going to Spain moment in the same way that Sei did. I think Hugo just looked at the world logically from how he was raised, like, okay, this is what makes sense. This is how it shall be done then. And that's how he's gone from there. I feel like Hugo has gone unchallenged in his mentality because so far he has been proven wrong in it. And ultimately, someone like Loki was able to see through that, which is why he bothered to go out of his way to get Charles anyway, despite already having Hugo. And on top of that, I think Isagi will be able to overcome Hugo in some direct way by showing him the truth of the matter behind Blue Lock. So, overall, a very W chapter. But we do need Baro and Shido, get some unpredictability out here, and fry Hugo. But, with that being the case, if you've been all the way to this video, please do me a favor and leave... That's not true! Exclamation point. Is that Taco 6 too? But that's not true. In the comment section, exclamation point. In the comment section down below. One of the things is what you're watching. Remember to leave a like, share, comment, and subscribe. Make sure that little notification bell can help us out on any of the come to the channel. Also, even to have a Patreon below, you support me for results. One, get a month, no month. Things like exclusive videos, other content, and more. You also now become a member of the channel for as low as $3 a month to get the same perks and more. So those perks include the live reactions, so the season after review, ad variations of all my videos, early ad-free access to all my videos, early ad-free access with your name at the end of literally every single video I produce. And if you are a $3 member or a $3 patron or higher, you get your name listed and read aloud at the end of every single video I produce. And on top of that, I do have a link to my Ko-Fi in the description down below, where you drop 5 weeks social video, 20 minutes long video, or any views at all. Any support is always greatly appreciated. Now I'd like to thank you so much for watching once again, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is Dago the Pencil, writing off. I'd like to thank you to our sketch tier members: Eternal Flame, Red Wolf 4765, Astro, Glacier XZ, Zera, Che2MA, Gyomi, Buddha Ura, Yuki Ally, Grim, Ollie, The Boy, Corey Watson, Damon Brown, Magic, CCC, Dino, Hector Gonzalez, Tim Thomas, Kilving, Julian Perez, RXN, Nevis97, Logan Guzman, Dead Meme, Keon Stewart, Donovan McIntosh, Sino King, Hamza Idrisi, BNA DNA, Edwin Ingbignoba, Straw, Athenzi Shear, and Tavius Mitchell, Azo2404, Superflame Zero, Weary Exile, Window Life, Alex Kenny, Victor Jacobs, Todd, The Practical One, Landon Clapwick, Heath Nelson, CAET, Funny Dude, Jagoda, Plant Crone, Striker Man, Brandon Payne, Black Sage, Multi-Batman Superman, Ramondo Furin, Zalim, Enzo, Union Eye, I Metatron, Sheesh King, Joe Bean, Aswin Hedi Prasetya, and Sleepin' John. Then, let me thank you to Art Line Art Tier patrons, A+A, Kevin Encarnacion, Sean, Dread Zoen, Midnight Lord 21, Karina Hernandez, and Lil Kodo. Then, let me thank you to our Inc. Tier members, King RTX and Shrimpo the 4th Shrimp 06, along with Zom. And then, let me thank you to our Digital Art Tier members, J Warrior, AZ Void, and Valden Nissan. Then, let me give a final thick juicy thank you to our Colored Art Tier patrons, Walking Munoz and Joaquin Munoz.